Wait, who's affirming abortion is immoral or wrong?
Yeah, I would.
Wait,
Look, I want to be clear. I need my question answered. Are we doing talking stick or?
Yeah, I said that we can do it.
I'll leave
I
it up
just
to the
prefer
princess.
that we don't like have to do it. But yeah, if we have to do it, we can do it. So sure.
Wait,
Sure.
Dude.
is there a debate going on?
Yo,
Yeah.
can we get this guy banned already?
I'm gonna announce
Like, is
it.
it going to be like like a time talking stick?
Yeah.
Um,
It's gonna be for 2
Be
minutes.
like, Janet.
Okay, if
Look,
it's going to be a
no,
time talking
bro,
stick,
this
I mean,
guy
I don't
fucking
really
loves to
prefer
yap.
that. If it's going to be a talking
Dude,
stick,
just
I
1
think we should
minute.
just get our points out. I mean,
Just
but
1
if
minute.
it's going to be
1
like a
minute,
time
1 minute, 30
talking stick, that's
seconds.
fine.
Okay, 1 minute 30 seconds. All right. Okay, who wants
I
to
don't
go
agree
first?
to that. Whoa, I don't agree to a minute
Wait,
30.
wait, wait,
Oh my
wait.
god, this nigga loves to talk forever, King. Okay, fine, bro. We can do whatever
Wait,
fucking talking stick you want.
yo, what's going on here, by the way?
I'm thinking like
Yo,
I'm
did
thinking
you
like
get this
talking
retard off the
stick to
DC?
like a okay. I'm thinking like talking stick to like a reasonable amount. We're able to get like all of our points out, and like if we're just on a point,
1
like and
minute and
the
1
timer
minute 30
ends, then we
seconds
can
is
still
perfectly
talk,
fine.
something like that.
I just joined the
Dude, 1 minute and 30 seconds is perfectly fine.
No.
Loves to talk.
Wait, how about until y'all finish? Okay, so
Yeah,
y'all
that's
get
what I was
off,
agreeing
break
to,
off.
and I just said like to like a reasonable extent, you know.
Okay, the extent is 3 minutes. All right.
Sure.
Look, okay, the proposition here is that abortion is morally permissible, morally wrong. What was it?
Can we get a moderator though?
Yeah. Okay.
Presumably that's what the.
Kenny
Agree
could
to.
probably moderate.
Okay, agree to ruin or gyro. Which one of y'all?
For talking stick? Do you guys need a moderator for talking stick?
Unmute
Yeah,
and
I don't
mute.
even think that. Well,
And
nigga, what? That's just what talking stick is.
Are you guys gonna behave?
like
Yeah,
just
just-
a moderator
We're
can
just
do
gonna
more.
talking stick.
Hold on, a moderator can do more
Bro,
than
we
just
don't
like
care.
unmute
We're
and
just
mute
gonna do
people.
talking stick. The person who could be doing the talking stick, as if so far as using their moderate terms, could be gyro or ruin. I don't care.
All right, ready? Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay,
I'll
so
start.
all right.
Okay. Can someone screen share like the timer though? Okay, so there's
We're not timing
certain.
it. What?
Okay, so is it starting now? Okay,
We're not
so
timing it.
we're not. Okay, I mean, okay, so I believe that realism was talking about 3 minutes. That's fine though. So I just really want to be clear on like the metaphysical prerequisites. So, I hold to Plotinus to the general metaphysical thesis, while also holding to Cyrenius for the hierarchy of the forms. I will be using the hierarchy of the forms throughout the entire debate, and now I can just give the argument. To be clear, it does like invoke eudaimonia, and it does hold an idiosyncratic account of what eudaimonia is. Okay, so premise 1 just states that the fetus is a sensible form, that which is an image of a dianoetic form. Premise 2 states that within the dianoetic form there's a property such as eudaimonia. Premise 3 says that if within the sensible form fails or is hindered to achieve that which is stipulated within the dianoetic form, then it's a frustration of that form. The conclusion: the fetus is a sensible form. Abortion hinders that which is included within the dianoetic form, which should be a frustration in that form. And within Neoplatonic virtue ethics, it would be categorized as wrong. And we can get into semantics, of course, what dianoetic means, what eudaimonia means. All about eudaimonia is just that it's going to be the achievement of noetic a priori knowledge, and then I'll just hold a general account of dianoetic forms, even though it's not going to be true to Cyrenius and his metaphysical thesis. Yeah. And like dianoetic is a bit idiosyncratic, but I do concede the rest of my time, and Mock can respond.
Holy shit! I want to call him so many words now, but look, dude. So I didn't really capture the inference there. Presumably, it was a deductive argument. So you could clarify the inference rule after, and I have premises, and I just want to know what's the argument for each premise. Now, look, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really care too much about the metaphysical thesis. I could actually just be a metaphysical nihilist or non. Like I could take like a Deleuzian account saying like this metaphysical non-realism, right, or anti-realism. But you could like say something of the sort of like that. Also, I don't know why I would agree to the structural integrity there, insofar as in the scheme relative usage of the tokens. I would actually deny that as well. You can respond to those burdens currently.
Okay, so he didn't catch the inference. So it would just follow valid inference, which just means that's going to logically follow if the premises are true. And then he said he didn't care about the metaphysical thesis, but to be clear, the backbone of the entire normative ethical framework is going to be based off Platonian metaphysics, okay? And Cyrenius, of course. He said he can be a metaphysical nihilist. Okay, you can be a metaphysical nihilist. I mean, I don't understand like how it's going to be a valid critique to what I just said. Is he positing he's a metaphysical nihilist? Because then I'll just ask him to, really like justify that. But then, he wants an argument for each of the premises. But premise one, and for the audience, what it says is that the fetus is a sensible form, right? And if you want to support for why it's going to be an image of a dianoic form, that just follows given what a sensible form is. And if you want me to give reasons for why a fetus is going to be considered a sensible form, okay, that's just in virtue of the metaphysical commitments that I'm talking about, right? Not to get into metaphysics, but when we investigate first order ontology and specifically the profiles there, right? The type of thing that the fetus is such that it's going to be a sensible form within the argument. Okay, and if you want me to say, okay, within the dianoic form, there's a property such as eudaimonia. If you want the motivation for that, this is like not to get into metaphysics again, but like when we investigate first order ontological profiles, this can just be based off our semantical thesis, right? And that's the type of things that metaphysics talks about. If it's going to be, a dispute or a semantical dispute or a linguistical dispute, or rather something that's actually talking about, reality. But I'm just going to say it's going to be based off our semantical thesis, specifically the dianoic form of a fetus, or not fetus, of a human, excuse me. Premise 3, if within the sensible form fails our standard to achieve that discipline within the dianoic form, there's a frustration of that form. And if you want to support why it's going to be a frustration of that form, that would just follow, given, actually, it would just follow given what I take frustration of a form to mean. Yeah, if you're doing something or a sensible form fails to achieve what's included within the dianoic form, that's it's going to be a frustration. Sure. And yeah, you can respond.
All he did was fucking yap. Well, look, I want to be clear. So the thing about the metaphysical anti-realism and the type of way Deleuze maybe talks about it, maybe Quentin talks about it, is just to say that we have these contrastive hypotheses in which we need to eliminate for years to be productive or functional. And now the elimination of these hypotheses is what's going to be needed. And an argument is going to presumably be the presentation for that front. Now, the argument against these type of hypotheses. Yo, Rowan, shut your bitch ass up, nigga. I'm eating chips. Look, it's probably my fucking highest cholesterol. But look, and then, dude, I asked for an inference rule, right? And then I denied the structural integrity. So what needs to be given here is the inference rule. And then we need to have a dispute, or there's going to be a dispute on the structural integrity of the inference if it's inferentially sound. You didn't do that. All you said is it's a valid argument. It has an inference rule. Like, it was a fucking that was dumb. But look, and then all other talks, like, it's like the main point here is that we have this relational or this conceptual relation in which we hold, your metaphysical Platonism, I'm pretty sure it was, and then we hold that some like abortion argument, and you're just going to say the premises are mainly justified by this metaphysical front. Or, look, dude, if you're going to say it's like held by this metaphysical front, then obviously you have to get over that hump. Oh yeah, the ontology. Look, I could just say, I could just be a limitativist on the ontology talk overall. Like I could just, globalize on limitativism there. And the reason for it is correlationism. I could just hold a correlationism and then just be a limitativist on meta-ontology, first order ontology, second order ontology, all of it, right? Because correlationism, I could just say this type of talks are non-productive and should be eliminated. Shut your bitch ass up, Kyra. And what correlationism pretty much goes to say, if we have these imageries, right, of what we perceive reality, and we just have this relata between the mind, the production, and the reality, which the mind produces the imagery and the type of things, the type of conceptual notions we have of reality. But it actually goes to say, we have no knowledge of true reality, we just have what the mind gives us. So it could actually go against ontology in the front of a metaphysical sense, right? Or a metaphysical realist. You can say that these are these ontological facts insofar as there is something that exists, but it would just be conceptual imagery, right? You have to eliminate those type of hypotheses too, which warrants, the eliminativist position on ontology. But yeah.
Okay, I believe he's done there. He did say that he can posit like metaphysical anti-realism within the Deleuzian sense. Okay, and he said that the elimination of hypotheses is going to be needed. I'm asking like why exactly is the case, and he says he needs an inference rule. Okay, I can explain how exactly I got to this conclusion. And again, I didn't say valid argument. What I did say was it says that it follows valid inference. Maybe he's not too well read on logic, but valid inference is just saying that if the premises are true, then it logically follows. Okay. And yeah, this is typically just going to be deduction. But yeah, deduction isn't going to be an inference rule. And they're not mainly justified by the metaphysical thesis, but rather it's going to be the backbone of the normative ethical framework. Okay, but again, he's not really giving me a critique. I mean, sure, he can hold to these positions, but if he's positing it, then can he motivate it? And then he made a point. Then we have no knowledge of true reality, just what the mind gives us. And this was a point of a certain metaphysical framework that he was, describing. And I'm just asking him there, like, what exactly is knowledge, and can he motivate this? But yeah, if you wanted to explain how exactly I got to this conclusion, right? I just mainly got to conclusion just investigating, what exactly these entities are, how exactly abortion stops it, and would it be wrong if abortion stops it? And yeah, it would be wrong because it's stopping something from it. Like, actually, the notion of wrong there is just going to be a privation of good, but good is just aligning with something that's higher within the hierarchy of reality. And what's that mean to say there is there's going to be a notion of ontological proximity, excuse me, where the closer you are to the one ontologically, then you're going to be, good or, perfect, right? And that's going to be, under, Platonian metaphysics, just to be clear. And yeah, that's just exactly how I got to the conclusion, which is what an inference rule is. And yeah, he can respond to that.
Yo. Yo, bro, Ruin. This nigga might be the new fucking Aristotle, dude. Bro, he might be the owner of logic, dude. I swear, bro. What the fuck? But it's not what an inference rule is. Yeah, it's pretty obvious, but so we're gonna have a dispute. Look, one, I didn't just say delusion, I said the Quintian and delusion and understanding of anti-realism, right? In reference to metaphysics. And if you read anything on Quintian, I'm also adopting his upfront correlationism. He doesn't really hold to correlationism. He's like a weird, it's like really weird. Also, I don't need to be clear. I just need the argument for your normative framework. You did the thing where you like to jibber jabber and not give the arguments when being pressed about it. I said I can't take these views if it's not problematic insofar as I can take these positions and they'll still be functional, but they are asymmetric and practically adjacent to your positions, and presumably your position is not going to be functional or productive, right? In which that I could have a warrant for being delimited of this on your type of positions if the contraries are one in which is possible, right? And contrastively, you could say pragmatic. But look, so the main front here is you keep using this ontological language, right? You keep using these terms like existence, being, ontological proximity, and again, I need to go against correlationism. Now look, you asked me what knowledge is and to motivate it. I don't know what the motivation, what the relata there, or the semantic type that the relata applies to, and which connects it. But when you say what is knowledge, and you say motivate this, I don't know what I'm motivating there. You could take we could take neutral semantics and just say knowledge is neutral, right? But it wasn't to say that we don't have knowledge. It was to say the conversations are not productive, or they're not going to be not inferentially, interrogatively pragmatic. It's not going to be conversations which we should have. We should eliminate these type of talks. Hold on, let me check the answer real quick. And dude, look, also maybe they reform logic. We could go down a proof tree if you want to see if this inference actually is inferentially valid. You learn this logics as a tool, page 52, pretty sure. What inferentially valid means. You didn't read any books like this, so you wouldn't really know. So yeah, what needs to be done here is eliminate these constructive hypotheses when it comes to the metaphysical views. You need to give a refutation to correlationism that defeats your ontological type talks, meta-ontology, et cetera, et cetera. And then you need to give the valid inference. You need to, resolve the dispute in instructional integrity after you give the valid inference. You need to show the proof tree in which, I guess you could say, validates your inference. And also deductive system, if it's going to be deductive, then it's obviously going to follow this well-formed, inferentially sound inference. Also, I could just deny monotonic systems. But yeah, that.
Okay, so he was just talking about how he can deny certain things, not really telling me if we should. But again, he wants the argument for the normative ethical framework. and this would just follow given Neoplatonism. But I mean, I'm also willing just to deny this and actually not deny, dismiss this in virtue of me, just trying to prove the internal consistency, and that's just going to be, the intention. And yeah, like sure, some of the metaphysical frameworks that he's posited so far just would go against my framework, but I'm just asking him to motivate that. And he says I keep using ontological language, and he like posited some framework that goes against that. But I'll just ask him to motivate that. And he asked me like what to motivate, and I told him just to motivate these certain metaphysical frameworks that goes against mine. Okay. Um, and then he said that we should eliminate, excuse me, these types of talks. I'm just going to ask him, is he just using this under normative epistemology? And if it's the case that he is, can he motivate that? And then he said he's using a neutral view of what knowledge is, but again, he didn't give one. I mean, this can just be anything. Under the colloquial sense of what knowledge is just going to be a justified true belief, but most people just wouldn't want to hold to this. So I mean, like I just wouldn't even say that it's going to be neutral, right? But yeah, like if he just give the account of knowledge, if not, I'm willing to give the account of knowledge. Maybe he hasn't studied too much on epistemology, which is totally fine. But knowledge, at least how I'm taking it within the view, especially when I describe eudaimonia, which is going to be the achievement of noetic a priori knowledge, that's just going to be a justified true belief with the sensitivity clause, which is actually going to be a modal condition that Robert Nozick uses for belief to counter the Gettier problem, right? And then I'll just ask him, why would I need to refute something that isn't justified or hasn't been justified? You asked me to, refute these certain metaphysical frameworks that seem to contend with mine, but I'm just going to ask you, like, why exactly, should I refute them if they haven't been justified, Like, someone can posit some, idiosyncratic framework that, goes against, my framework, but if it's not going to be justified, it doesn't seem like it's actually going to change my epistemic position on something. But yeah, like, if it's going to be justified, then it would change my epistemic position.
Dude, we can conclude you did not respond adequately to fucking anything. Holy shit. Yo, oh my god. Yo, Ruin, bro. This is the high tiers of the con, bro. This is the guy who's better than Tron, bro. I'm telling you.
Okay, so you just want to, like, disengage and stop the debate here? That's fine.
Well, nigga, I think we can conclude.
I mean, if you just want to stop the debate here, that's fine.
I mean, bro. Look, I just got a question, bro. Can you explain what the inference rule was again? Like, you just explain it for me, buddy. Like, what?
Yeah, you want, like, so the way I explained, like, the inference rule, is just by clarifying how exactly I got to conclusion, because that's what an inference rule is, right?
What that is.
That's what I just take it to be, unless they're going like a different account with
How
inference
is
rule
the
is.
argument valid? Like he's asking for you to provide whatever inference or the derivation and just
Yeah,
demonstrate how it's
derivation
valid.
relation.
Yeah,
Like, and you do this through normal methods like truth.
By the way, that guy's getting mic mogged. That guy, wow. Whoever was just talking was just getting drowned out by mock.
Can you demonstrate the
Said 3 times? Okay. What do you say?
That was yeah. Okay, look, can you demonstrate the structural integrity insofar
The
as
structural integrity?
what's the inference rule? The argument. Now, look,
Again,
you can
I
try to give
clarified
me
what
an
exactly
method-
I meant
you-
by
wait,
inference
wait,
rule.
wait, come, or what the fuck? I wasn't asking you what you meant. Look, an inference rule.
Oh,
like, you know
because
what
that's how
inference rule
that's how I'm
is,
talking about when I say I gave an inference rule. I'm just giving like what I took
dude?
an
What do you
inference
think
rule to
inference
be.
rule is? Wait. What do you think inference rule is?
I already told you this.
I didn't track. Tell me again. I go.
Okay. I mean, I would even say I have like a dialectical obligation at that point, since the debate is already over, to clarify or re-clarify what exactly I meant by inference rule. Yeah, you can just actually just go back in the rec to see what I said.
No, he's doing the thing where he does because he's getting caught out for being a retard. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's definitely a duck. All right.
Yeah,
So yeah, since you just want to conclude here, do you want to give conclusions, or I mean, I'm ready to give conclusions.
I don't care. I don't care to give conclusions, bro.
Okay, so I mean, throughout the debate, my interlocutor was just positing these metaphysical frameworks, but as a critique to my framework. But then I asked him to motivate them, and the reason why I asked him to motivate them was just because if it's the case that they're not going to be justified or they haven't been justified, then what exactly is going to be the obligation to even refute them, right? And then I give accounts of what I meant. And he'd even give account what knowledge was after he said that he was going to posit a neutral account, which is totally fine. That's why I gave one. I had to clarify the semantics, but yeah, generally speaking, like none of his critiques seemed to land. But yeah, he asked for, my, excuse me, my argument for the normative ethical framework, and I showed why I dismissed it, and it didn't seem like I had any contention with that, and that's totally fine. I do take it that I won that though. Yeah.
That was a pretty good debate. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Wait, I think he might have been confused on inferentials and ontology, because he was conflating like what inferential ontology was, but not what systematic methodology. Like he was saying like structural integrity. I think he might have been collapsing the two systems.
Is
Right.
Mock your student, by the way, ideal?
No.
Oh,
We just know each other from like certain metaphysical inquiries. But
okay.
I'm gonna ask like.
What? Get this thing out of here, man.
Okay.
Can you repeat the argument?
Repeat. I can send it into a side chat real quick.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I just want to see it again. Because he was saying it wasn't valid. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure if it's valid or not.
Here in the side chat. There's the argument in the side chat.
Do you have like a formal version?
This is like the only version I have. Are you asking like within like FOL? Like, are you asking like if I have it within like FOL?
You're using. Like, yeah. Do you prefer any specific framework? I'm gonna run this through like. It's called Kenny's Truth Tables, right? It's a website. It like shows like whether an argument's valid. Do you have
Is it like ChatGPT or something?
No, it's a website. It's called. I can send it to you.
Okay.
It's called kennydiscus.com. But yeah. Do you have like a preferred system of logic or no?
I don't know. I thought like, I mean, not really. I haven't studied too much on logic. I mean, I was interested by like free logic, but that's like about it.
Well, okay, because you were saying it was a valid inference, correct? Or am I mistaken?
I mean, I would say it follows from valid inference, yeah.
Yeah, and a valid inference, right, would obviously be assessed relative to some system of logic. I mean, that's how those terms are defined. Right?
If we're talking about system of logic, as in like, first order logic, then like sure, we can just use first order logic.
Yeah, so that's just what I'm trying to figure out, like, just so we can assess. Because if it is valid, then I think you'd probably won that debate. If not, then I'd probably still give it to you, but that would be like a point off.
Yeah, I mean, it was about abortion, but like I just took it to metaphysics. Like I'm the strongest in metaphysics, so I just took it to metaphysics.
We was asking metaphysics.
But like mainly what he was doing as a critique was he just like bringing up some frameworks that like were meant to critique the metaphysics, but then I was just asking him to justify the certain frameworks because like, I mean, I just want to have an obligation to respond to something that like I just don't like that isn't justified, right? And then like he can like motivate both of those, like, oh, he can motivate the frameworks themselves and also motivate that if it's not justified that you should still respond to it within the dialect. And also, like, he didn't really respond to, like, the epistemic normative framework, or the epistemic question I asked in reference to epistemic normativity, excuse me.
Dude, yo, that's a self-concession. What, nigga? The whole point is we're disputing the normativity there. Should we believe in this position? There's these contrastive hypotheses that are
Yeah, I was asking you to stipulate the normative, the epistemic normative framework, and you didn't.
Look,
we're not even debating right now, so it's fine.
Look, oh, then I can just drown you, right? Like, and then nobody hears you?
I'm letting you speak.
I'm putting it in the truth tables right now. We're gonna see the result of whether it's valid or not.
That's just not gonna be valid. But look, like the whole point is I'm pointing out the normativity dispute, right? By the way, you bring up normativity as well. So and again, I told you we can just go by mutual semantics. Like it doesn't have to be.
I mean, I'm not like, yeah. If you want to go by neutral semantics, at least on the epistemic normative framework, then like what exactly? Like, are we just saying that we can both agree on a certain framework? So I would just hold like an evidentialist stance of like normative epistemology. You might just hold to like an alethic stance, right? Or even like a knowledge stance.
What the fuck is Kenny's truth tables, nigga?
It's a validity checker. It's using propositional ontology logic. It's saying invalid. Invalid. That's what any truth table is saying.
If Gyro, you got raped, but you lost. Damn.
What are your thoughts on this? What do you think won?
Damn, Blasian just said you lost, bro.
Are you retarded, nigga?
That's not what I said.
Damn. No, it said like it said if Gyro said it, then you lost. Gyro said it, therefore you lost type thing. But yeah, I mean, I believe like your boy Ruin was even saying he was gonna give it to me even if it wasn't valid.
Yeah, no, I think okay. I mean, I think the argument is valid. Maybe not in propositional logic. Maybe in FOL, probably. I think Modal did pretty good that discussion. He used the like the dianoetic ontologies.